Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. No. It is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark whose love's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man or woman ever loved. Good morning, everyone. Sorry we're a little late this morning. Sometimes love takes a little time. But most think of that Shakespearean sonnet, which happens to be number 116, as a tome just to romantic love, as many of those sonnets are. But when you listen carefully, when you dig a little deeper into it, you see that he is speaking as well to the love of living and the love of experiencing life to the fullest. No matter what shows up, as he says, or what your age may be, as he says. He speaks as well to how the universe, from the Big Bang through eternity, through forever actually, is that energy of creation everlasting, the very essence of love. We're so happy that you have brought your love, your consciousness, your beingness to the New Thought Spiritual Center Sunday celebration this morning, and welcome to the Festival of Love. We're going to talk about a lot of different types of love this morning. Our awakening, which is the theme for 2021, is a love fest. Awakening is a self-love fest full of depth and passion and enlightenment and spirit. And we're going to talk this morning about the many different types of love that the Greeks named. We're not going to do all of them, but we're going to do philia, which is the affectionate, authentic type of friendship love. Pragma, which is the enduring love that we feel. Storge, which is unconditional and familial love, and we'll see how that is a twist on universal love. Eros, of course, the romantic and passionate love that most people celebrate on the 14th in one way or the other today. Ludus, which is the playful, flirtatious love that I hope we all have with 1, 2, 3, 10 million people throughout our lives. Philotia, which is self-love. And then agape, which is that selfless universal love. And our Festival of Love shall illuminate all of those that I spoke about. First is the love of spirit, which of course is agape love. And I want to read to you the definition of love as Ernest Holmes wrote about it in The Science of Mind and Spirit. And he said, self-givingness of spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. It is a synonym for God, says Emerson. It is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. That's what love is. The self-givingness of spirit to each and every one of us and to all of nature throughout this universe. God is unconditional love, or whatever you want to call it, God, divine, source. It's unconditional love. Now, many confuse that with only positive things happening in our lives. However, this unconditional love is truly unconditional, is truly non-judgmental. This love from the universe, from the highest of highest from the divine source, spirit, whatever you want to call it. It knows only to give, not good or bad, not positive or negative. It knows only to give what it is asked for. See, there's this divine yes going on that will never be denied to us. And this yes may announce itself through joy and peace, or maybe pain and loss. Yet it's always there, awaiting our acknowledgement, awaiting our response, our declaration, our revelation. It is a yes that leads each and every one of us to joy, to love, sometimes to challenge, to growth. And it is a love that is ongoing, that is taking us to that ongoing yet to be of infinite possibilities that is there for us to grab, for us to know, for us to believe in and believe into our lives. It is that soul's calling of our heart's desire, which first appears as a curiosity or an interest, right? A nudge sometimes. Then it grows into a little nudge from the universe. And then it grows into a pull for us to know more, to seek out, to make it a part of our lives. Learning to listen through regular spiritual practice brings trust and hope and awakening to our lives. And finally, this vision comes. You ever have that? It's such a big step when that vision comes, when you start seeing it, when you start imagining this idea that has become a nudge in your life. And then finally you embody it and envision it so that it becomes so much a part of your belief system that it then becomes a part of your life because of that yes from the universe. Agape love, self-love, divine love is all love with a capital L that shines in our oneness as human beings and actually as all living beings. It reminds us of who we are, what self is. I want to read you a little definition of self from the Upanishads. It says, that boundless power, source of every power, manifesting itself as life, entering every heart, living there among the elements. That is self. A boundless power, the source of every power, manifesting itself as life, as you, as me, entering every heart, living. That's you. That is you and me, found in the countenance of you, is what self is, what God is. Enoch, who was the great-grandfather of Noah, from Noah and the Ark, he wrote, I saw the view of the face of the Lord like iron made burning hot in a fire and brought out, and it emits sparks and is incandescent. Thus, even I saw the face of the Lord. The face of the Lord. It's not just a burning bush or the face, the actual face of Moses or Jesus or Mary or Muhammad or the Buddha. This likeness and image of the divine, this countenance of the divine is in all things. The likeness and image is in you and me. So much is resolved and loosened up and empowered when we remember this, when we take it to heart, when we live it, when we embody it, when we think from it and be it in mind, body, heart, and soul. So right now, let us tap into these yeses, these sacred yeses, this agape love. That was an example. of what is called philautia. I want to say that word very carefully, which means self-love. A practice of meditation or prayer is the ultimate of self-love. Working out, eating nutritious foods, getting outside, all those things as well is self-love. But meditation and prayer gives you a healthy base, a healthy self-esteem, insight into the highest that you are. Calm, a centeredness, an opening, and an ability to intentionally awaken to the wisdom that is there and available and in you. Now, let's talk a little about that realm of love called Eros, the romantic love. The love that most people talk about on February 14th. In Madame Bovary, which was written in 1856, Gustave Flaubert tells us about Emma Bovary's ideas about romantic love coming from what he calls that refuse of old lending libraries, which say things like, and describe things like this. And he says, this was all about love and lovers, damsels in distress, swooning in lonely lodges, postilions slaughtered all along the road, horses ridden to death on every page, gloomy forests, troubles of the heart, vows, sobs, tears, kisses, rowing boats in the moonlight, nightingales in the grove, gentlemen brave as lions and gentle as lambs, too virtuous to be true, invariably well-dressed and weeping like fountains. Is that how you see romantic love? Many of us do. Many of those cards we bought in the last week and gave this morning probably do. Well, I'm here to say that I'm in love. And I'm not just talking about romantic love, though she's here on the other side of that sign somewhere. But I'm also in love with my friends, the jobs I have, my ministry, of course, my family. Southern California, I love. This part of the West Los Angeles area, I love. I'm in love with the taste of peach cobbler, with that thick, chewy, doughy crust and the crumbles on top. I'm in love with French fries, pumpkin pie, that dense, rich, flourless chocolate cake. I'm also in love with that smell of cut grass. Don't you love that? Smell of cut grass. Or a blazing fireplace or fire pit outside. The air when it rains. Like last week after it rained, smell in the air. Isn't that fabulous? I love that. I'm in love with the music of Debussy, sounds of crickets at night. Eros, romantic love, February 14th. They all have come to be one. But you know, St. Valentine's Day has many stories. Now, one was begun by Pope Gelasius I in the 5th century. And his idea was to combine the honoring of a temple priest who was beheaded by the Emperor Claudius II for helping Christians couples wed. Isn't that a lovely thought? But he wanted to celebrate this saint, Saint Valentine's, and combine that with what was happening on the 13th of February, which was the Roman feast of Lupercalia. Lupercalia was this naked, drunken, pagan fertility festival where there was goat sacrifices and lots of misogyny and a matchmaking lottery that went on. Crazy, crazy fun stuff. But there's other St. Valentine's Day celebrations that go on, but at different times. Did you know this? I didn't know this till I was looking at it this week. The St. Valentine of Viterbo Day is actually November 3rd, so we missed that one. The St. Valentine's Day of Russia is on January 7th. The St. Valentine Day, honoring Saint Valentina, who was actually a virgin martyred in Palestine in 308 AD, is on July 25th. So you can remember that on July 25th to honor Saint Valentina. But now, thanks to the industrious threesome in the 1920s, Loveland, Colorado, who got together, and their names were Joyce Clyde Hall, who was of the Hallmark Cards in Kansas City, Missouri folk. Mary C., she was there. She's the candy maker here in LA. And a gentleman named John Valentine, interestingly enough, who owned the Florists Trans World Delivery, FTD, out of Downers Grove, Illinois. They got together and they colluded and they captured the market for this holiday. And that's why we believe now that without a combo of candy, cards, and flowers, Valentine's Day is ruined. Crazy, crazy stuff. But now let's talk about what the Greeks called storge. Now, storge is defined as familial love, but it's not just the love of blood relatives. It's the love of the relatives of humanity, the relatives in nature, the relatives that we have who are also individuations of the divine, who are also personifications of the divine here, not only on this planet, but that's what we're mostly thinking about today. And we're also going to discuss the type of love called philia. Now, philia describes that friendship and shared goodwill that we have as a gathering, as oneness, that oneness that all religions really teach when you get down to the basics of it. But before we get into this, I have a couple of questions for you. Now, first one is, what are the ways we let ourselves be distracted from remembering and living from our worthiness as divine, unique, and radiant creations of spirit? There are ways that each of us do that in our lives, that we step away from that divine love that we're about to talk about. And the second question is, how can we let God be God in us, in our daily lives, with our family, our friends, in our jobs, at the grocery store, when we go? I want to bring in a quote right now from Emerson's essays, The Oversoul, one of his great essays. And in there he said, when we have broken our God of tradition and ceased from our God of rhetoric, then may God fire the heart with its presence. God, as source, is everywhere. That source, that substance of everything that happens around us, with us, for us, is everywhere. And it's equally present and always fully active. It never goes away. God as presence is an innate connection full of wondrous and creative and limitless possibilities, radiant inspiration, and perfect order. Perfect order. No matter what's going on, it is in perfect order. That is the law of cause and effect. That is the unconditional love of the divine, which is always there, available to commune with, always there for us to be a part of. But in our love for it and with it and as it, we must do our part. Today, I want to celebrate the glory and divinity of that which I am. and that which you are, of course, too. I want all of us to honor ourselves, honor nature, honor the dignity, the creation and the creator that I am, and the creator and creation that you are. I am the believer, not the belief. And I am in love with and grateful to the infinite invisible, which I am a part of, which you are a part of. This loving energy that soars within each and every one of us, through each and every one of us, and around each and every one of us. To the degree that we are willing and open to, and receptive participants, agreeing partners with the divine love. Not just on this day, not just on Heart Day or Love Day or Valentine's Day, but every day, all the days. Then our lives can and will correspond and demonstrate that divine love so that we can bust through, soar and zoom no matter what's going on in our lives. Even the good stuff that we want even more good or more gooder. You need to bust through, soar and zoom to step into that, to reach that, to believe that, to have that in our experiences. We want to be spectators no more. Or at least not just spectators. I want to ask each and every one of us, including myself, to figure out what brings us joy. Really write it down if you have to. What brings you joy? And what rises in you a feeling of passion and possibility? What is that? Is it that knowing the truth? Is that hearing about the truth? Is that meditating on the truth of who each of us really are? When we radiate love, intention, and passion, we allow that divine love, that divine power that is within each and every one of us to guide us to the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and the next step. Now, some of the history around Valentine's Day may not be so pure. I get it. And I will still be flowering and candying and card writing to my special loved one. But I also will to myself. And I invite you to do that for yourself as well, in appreciation of the God that is in each and every one of us, the God in you, the God in me, for the love of it. And the love that it, meaning the divine, has for me, gives to me, is in me, as me. Plato taught that love aims at beautiful and good things, the possession of which he called happiness. He called that happiness, which is an end in itself. But of all the good and beautiful things, the best one, the most fabulous one, the richest and most dependable one is that wisdom of truth, which is why Plato called love not a god, but a philosopher. Today, I have the philosophy, the awakening, the perspective, and the good sense, really, to create a happy, prosperous, and vibrant life. No matter what was going on yesterday, that's what's going on now and forevermore. And that's why, that is not just why, but that's what I celebrate on Valentine's Day and all the days around it, really. But I use Valentine's Day as an extra reminder. Join me in that. Use Valentine's Day to remind yourself, as a self-love, who you are. The power that you have, the power that the universe has brought to each and every one of us, and will always be there. Communicate, listen, learn, commune, awaken yourself to the divine love. It's there. I know sometimes you look around and you feel like you don't see it. It's there. It's there for the taking. It's there for the asking. It's there for you to bring not only into your heart, but into your life. Thank you so much. Namaste.